The Galactic Council chamber floated above a blue star, wide and silent, except for the low hum of energy shields. Representatives from hundreds of species watched from their platforms as the session was broadcast across known space. This meeting was not meant to be historic. It was supposed to be routine. It changed when General Krell spoke. General Krell of the Varuan Empire stood tall, his scaled arms crossed as his voice echoed through the chamber. He was a decorated commander, known for crushing weaker worlds and forcing them into submission. His species respected power above all else, and today he intended to display it. He pointed toward the human delegation. For cycles uncounted, Krell said, humans have hidden behind words and treaties. They avoid battle. They delay conflict. They refuse to strike first. The evidence is clear. Humans are the most cowardly species ever to reach the stars. A ripple of reaction moved through the chamber. Some delegates leaned forward with interest. Others shifted in discomfort. A few even nodded. The camera feed quickly focused on the human representatives. Jack Morris sat calmly at the table, his hands folded. He did not raise his voice or show anger. Beside him, Emma Brooks adjusted her tablet and kept her eyes steady. They had expected hostility. They had prepared for it, but not this. The insult spread faster than light. On distant stations, alien officers replayed the speech again and again. Commentators laughed. Military leaders took notes. The idea was simple and dangerous. Humans would not fight back. On Earth, the broadcast reached billions. In a quiet room beneath a mountain complex, Ethan Cole watched the screen in silence. He was not a soldier. He was a planner. His job was to imagine what others could not. Grace Miller stood near him, arms folded tightly. She had served in disaster response, not war, but her eyes narrowed as Krell finished speaking. They still do not understand us, Grace said. Ethan nodded. No, and that is what worries me. Across Earth and its colonies, reactions varied. Some humans were angry. Others were tired. Many simply turned off the screen and went back to their lives. Humanity had lived with insults before. Long before the stars, humans had learned how easily words could become excuses for violence. Jack Morris and Emma Brooks remained silent throughout the session. When the council offered them the chance to respond, Jack declined politely. Humanity has no comment at this time, he said. The chamber buzzed with quiet laughter. To the galaxy. The silence confirmed everything. But silence did not mean emptiness. Far from the council. In secured archives and deep data vaults, records told a different story. Humanity's history was not one of fear, but of learning. They had fought wars on their own world that nearly erased them. They had learned how quickly victory turned into regret. When humans finally reached the stars, they made a choice. Never again. Unless there was no other way. Ben Carter, a quiet historian on Luna, watched the council replay with a heavy sigh. He had spent his life studying humanity's past conflicts. He knew how fragile peace really was. They think we are weak, he said softly to no one in particular, because they have never seen us afraid of ourselves. On Mars, Noah Price reviewed fleet readiness reports. He was a logistics officer, not a hero. His job was to make sure nothing was missing when everything went wrong. As he read the latest intelligence updates, his jaw tightened. Varuan fleets were moving closer to human borders. Claire Evans noticed it too. She worked in civil defense, tracking evacuation routes and shelter capacity. Her screens showed quiet numbers, clean lines, and calm projections. But beneath them was urgency. Human systems were preparing, slowly and quietly, not for conquest, for survival. Back in the council chamber, General Krell ended his speech with a sharp gesture. He had made his point. The galaxy had listened. As the session closed, alien news channels began running bold predictions. Analysts spoke confidently about how human space would fall if challenged. Some even discussed dividing human territory in advance. No one noticed the lack of human outrage. No one asked why a supposedly cowardly species had survived so long. Jack and Emma left the chamber without speaking. As they walked down the long corridor toward their transport, Emma finally broke the silence. "They want a response," she said. Jack nodded. "They want us to shout, to threaten, and we won't," Emma replied. "Not yet." Far across space, General Krell watched the human delegation depart. He felt satisfied. In his mind, the matter was settled. Humans would retreat when tested, just as they always had. He did not see the data. Transfers beginning in hidden channels. He did not hear the quiet meetings on distant worlds. He did not understand that. Humanity's greatest fear had always been war itself, and that fear was finally being pushed too far. Above Earth, the stars remained calm and unchanged. For now. Far from the council chambers and the eyes of the galaxy, humanity's history was being studied in quiet rooms filled with data screens and archives. Ben Carter sat at a desk on Luna, his hands resting on stacks of records that told stories no one outside the solar system had ever read. He tapped a screen, bringing up the details of ancient wars on Earth. Wars that had destroyed cities, divided nations, and tested every limit of human endurance. "These people think we run from war," Ben muttered to himself. "They have no idea we have survived more than most species even remember." Across Mars, Noah Price and Claire Evans worked together in a communications hub, coordinating fleets and defense systems. Unlike the alien empires, humans did not seek to conquer. They had learned that true strength came from preparation, strategy, and knowing when to fight and when to avoid needless bloodshed. Humanity had avoided open war with most alien species, not out of fear, but out of careful planning. Every diplomatic mission, every treaty, every quiet defense operation was a lesson in survival. They had seen the cost of conflict up close and understood that even victory could bring ruin. In a training facility orbiting Earth, Lily Adams and Luke Parker drilled a new generation of fleet officers. The exercises were precise, focused, and disciplined. Every move had a purpose. Every mistake had consequences. Unlike the galaxy's assumption of human cowardice, these young officers learned resilience and patience above all else. "Why do they always underestimate us?" Lily asked as she watched Luke recalibrate a simulation. "Because they see only our patience," Luke replied. "They mistake caution for weakness." Back on Earth, historian Ava Ross prepared a report for the Human Council. She included statistics, survivor accounts, and data about every major human conflict from the last 100 years. Her work was meticulous and thorough, a record to remind humans, and perhaps one day, the galaxy, that restraint was not cowardice. In another part of the solar system, Ethan Cole and Grace Miller met with senior leaders to discuss fleet readiness. The Varuan Empire's public insult had sparked concern, but there was no panic. Each human leader understood the stakes. "Preparation is our ally," Ethan said. "We have survived worse than insults from aliens. Now, we just need to make sure the galaxy understands that our silence does not equal fear." Grace nodded. "We've spent decades avoiding unnecessary wars. But when the time comes, we must be ready. We cannot let them think restraint is surrender." For decades, humans had built technology and fleets not to dominate, but to protect. They developed ships that could respond quickly, systems that could predict enemy movements, and strategies that could end conflicts before they escalated. Each invention was guided by one principle: preserve life whenever possible, but act decisively when threatened. Jack Morris reviewed intelligence from human outposts near the outer edges of the solar system. Reports showed unusual alien fleet movements. While most empires assumed humans were passive, Jack could read the patterns and see that the aliens were overconfident, assuming humans would not retaliate. "This is exactly what we feared," Jack said. "They think we will retreat, but they don't know we never planned to run. We only act when necessary." Meanwhile, Emma Brooks coordinated communications between Earth, Mars, and human colonies beyond the solar system. Every message, every alert, every report was sent with precision. Humans were patient, methodical, and organized a stark contrast to the rash actions of other species. Back on Earth, Ben Carter gave a lecture to young students about humanity's past. They listened, eyes wide with curiosity and respect. He explained that humans had survived countless challenges, not because they were fearless, but because they had learned to act wisely. "We are not cowards," Ben said. "We are cautious, prepared, and aware. That has always been our strength. And one day, the galaxy will have to understand that." Across the galaxy, alien empires continued to assume that humans would avoid conflict. They mocked humanity's restraint, believing it was weakness. But humans had prepared quietly, building intelligence networks, fleets, and strategies far beyond what the aliens could guess. Even civilian populations played a role. Lily Adams coordinated emergency shelters and evacuation plans, while Luke Parker ensured that the outer colonies could communicate without disruption. Civilians were trained in safety, survival, and quick responses. Unlike the galaxy's view of humans as cowardly, the reality was that humans were disciplined, organized, and ready. Jack Morris convened a private meeting with Emma Brooks, Ethan Cole, and Grace Miller. They discussed the growing tension with the Varuan Empire. They knew the public insult could lead to something bigger, but they also knew humans were ready to respond if necessary. "History has shown us that the galaxy underestimates us," Emma said. "We avoid war because it is deadly, not because we are afraid." Jack nodded. "And if they push too far, we will act. Once decisively. And that will be the last war we ever fight." Grace added quietly, "We need to make them understand that patience is not weakness. It is our greatest weapon." As the meeting ended, humans returned to their work. Each move was deliberate. Each plan calculated. The galaxy continued to whisper about human cowardice. Unaware that humanity's calm was not fear, was preparation in hidden archives. Historians, strategists, and fleet commanders continued their work. They studied every alien tactic, every known weakness, and every possible outcome. Humans had built a network of knowledge and defense, unmatched by any other species. Ben Carter summarized it best in his report. "They call us cowards because they do not see what we value. Strength is not in endless fighting. Strength is in surviving, in protecting life, and in knowing when to act." The galaxy will learn this one day, whether they believe it or not. And so, while the Varuan Empire and others laughed at humanity's supposed fear, humans quietly prepared. Their silence was not empty. It was filled with purpose, strategy, and the quiet promise that when they finally acted, it would be the last war the galaxy ever saw. The quiet of humanity was about to end. Far at the edge of human-controlled space, a frontier colony on Titan hummed with life. Sensors picked up movement beyond the system alien ships, moving fast, precise, confident. The Varuan Empire had sent a small fleet, expecting no resistance. They believed humans would retreat, as they always assumed. Inside the colony's command center, Lily Adams and Luke Parker watched the readouts carefully. The screens showed the incoming ships. "They're here," Lily said, her voice calm but tense. Luke nodded. "They think we are weak. They think we will surrender." But surrender was never part of the plan. Humans had prepared quietly for decades. Every fleet, every defense system, every evacuation procedure had been designed to protect life and survive any attack. Now, It was time to test it all. On Earth, Jack Morris and Emma Brooks convened an emergency council with Ethan Cole and Grace Miller. "This is it," Jack said. "They have crossed the line. We act once decisively, and then it ends. The last war begins." Emma looked at the data flowing in from Titan. "We are ready. Our fleets are in position. Civilians are safe. Every plan is active." Across the colony, families followed evacuation protocols with quiet precision. Every child, every elder, every citizen had a role. The humans did not panic. They moved with purpose. Hidden ships emerged from Titan's moons. The Varuan fleet was taken by surprise. Humans had not waited for confrontation. They had anticipated it. Ships appeared where the aliens least expected, blocking escape routes and disabling scanners. Lily watched the battle unfold on her screens. "They don't even know we are ready," she said with a small, tense smile. Luke nodded. "Patience is our advantage." The first engagement was swift. Humans used electromagnetic pulses and disabling drones to neutralize alien weapons without unnecessary destruction. The Varuan commanders were shocked. Their assumption that humans would flee or surrender was completely wrong. Back on Earth, Jack coordinated communications with all human fleets and colonies. Orders were executed perfectly. Every move had been simulated countless times in training exercises, and now it played out flawlessly in real life. On Titan's surface, civilians moved to shelters as Lily and Luke oversaw the process. No one was left behind. Humanity had learned long ago that survival depended on more than weapons. It depended on coordination, trust, and disciplined out at the same time. A broadcast went out across the galaxy. Ava Ross's call, firm voice echoed in alien systems. "Attention all empires. Humanity acts not out of hate or desire for conquest, but to protect its people. This will be the last war we fight. Patience is not weakness. Restraint is not fear. The galaxy must understand this or face the consequences." The message caused shockwaves. Some laughed, dismissing it as bravado. Others paused, realizing humans spoke only when serious. Humans did not make empty threats. The battle continued. The Varuan fleet struggled against humans, who struck with precision. Alien ships were disabled, weapons neutralized, and communication systems jammed. Human strategy focused on efficiency and psychological impact, not destruction. Each alien commander began to question their assumptions. Humans were not cowardly. They were fearless when necessary, careful, and disciplined. After hours, the first skirmish ended. The colony remained safe. Human casualties were minimal. Alien losses were significant, not in terms of ships destroyed, but in terms of command and control. The humans had demonstrated readiness, intelligence, and overwhelming precision. Lily turned to Luke. "Do you think they understand now?" Luke shook his head. "Not yet. But they will. Humanity never bluffs." On Earth, the Council received full reports from the front line. Every system functioned perfectly. Every fleet executed orders flawlessly. Civilians were accounted for. Human efficiency stunned even the most experienced leaders. Jack looked at his colleagues. "This is our message. Not words, but actions. We are not cowards. We are prepared. We are precise. We are humanity." Emma nodded. "And now they will know restraint is strength. We only fight when we must. And when we do, it ends quickly." Grace added softly, "We act once, decisively. After this, no empire will dare test humanity without consequences." The Varuan Empire received its first detailed reports from the battle. General Krell's confidence faltered as he read the messages. Humans had outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and outpreppered his fleet. They had not attacked recklessly. They had acted with precision that left no room for recovery. Krel called a council of his senior officers. "They are not weak," he said reluctantly. "Every assumption we made was wrong. They are patient, disciplined, and deadly when necessary." Alien officers whispered among themselves. The label of cowardice no longer seemed accurate. For the first time, doubt entered the calculations of a species that had always relied on strength alone. Meanwhile, humans were already planning next steps, not for revenge, but to secure peace. The colony was rebuilt, resources replenished, people safe. Humanity's focus remained clear: act decisively once, then end all future conflict before it could begin. On Titan, Lily watched the sun rise over the colony. The frontier was safe. The humans had proven themselves. They were not cowards. They were guardians. They were ready to fight only when absolutely necessary. Jack Morris reflected on the results. The galaxy had assumed retreat. Instead, humans had shown discipline, coordination, and unmatched strategy. The insult from General Krell had sparked a turning point. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again, and this was only the beginning. Humanity's last war had begun. The galaxy thought it understood humans. They were patient, cautious, and quiet. They never started wars. They avoided conflict. They were weak. They were wrong. After the skirmish at Titan, humanity revealed the truth. The fleets hidden across the outer colonies moved into position, faster and more coordinated than any alien species had ever seen. Ships glided through space in perfect formations, communicating instantly through secure channels. Humans had not just prepared, they had mastered war without needing to fight it until now. Morris watched from the command hub on Earth. "They will not expect this," he said. "No one ever expects humans when we strike as one." Emma Brooks nodded. "We are precise. We hit only what we must. They will learn quickly that patience is not weakness." On Mars, Fleet Commanders Lily Adams and Luke Parker issued the first attack orders. The human strategy was simple: disable enemy fleets without unnecessary destruction, cut their supply lines, and force them to surrender quickly. Humans did not fight endlessly. They ended conflicts efficiently. The first target was a Varuan supply station near Proxima Centauri. Human ships appeared suddenly, hiding in the shadow of nearby moons. They launched electronic disruption pulses that rendered the station's weapons useless. Drones entered the facility, quickly shutting down key systems. Within hours, the station was neutralized without a single human casualty. Across the galaxy, alien empires began to realize they had underestimated humanity. Ships that had mocked the humans as cowards were now stranded, defenseless, and bewildered. Reports of quick, decisive human victories spread like wildfire. Every fleet had a clear purpose, and every attack was calculated. No alien commander had seen tactics like this. Back on Earth, Jack and Emma coordinated multiple fronts. "Remember," Jack said, "this is not about destroying worlds. This is about showing them we are serious. We fight only once, and we end it." Civilian populations supported the effort in ways the aliens never expected. Luna and Mars were hubs for logistics. Colonists assisted in repairs, supply management, and intelligence gathering. Humanity's strength was not just in their ships, but in their people, organized and disciplined. At one of the outer colonies, historian Ava Ross observed the unfolding events with awe. "The galaxy never knew humans could fight like this," she said. "We are not conquerors. We are precise, coordinated, and unstoppable when necessary." Meanwhile, the Varuan Empire struggled. Their fleets, confident in their superiority, were unable to adapt. Humans avoided head-on attacks, instead disabling weapons, cutting communication lines, and isolating key ships. Panic spread through the Varuan ranks, as they realized every assumption about humanity was wrong. On Titan, Lily Adams oversaw the evacuation of a colony threatened by a Varuan raiding fleet. Her calm voice guided families through safe zones, while human ships neutralized the threat above. "They think they can scare us," she said to Luke Parker. "They don't understand that fear does not control humans. Strategy does." Luke smiled. "And we have more strategy than anyone expects." Jack Morris addressed the human fleets through secure communication. "We act decisively. We fight efficiently. We protect our people. Humanity's patience is ending. This is the last war." The next engagement took place near the Orion Belt. Human forces surrounded a large Varuan fleet that had attacked smaller human colonies. In a matter of hours, the fleet was crippled. Weapons were disabled, engines disrupted, and supply ships captured. Human casualties were minimal. Alien forces were shocked by the speed and precision of human tactics. Across the galaxy, other species began to take notice. The humans they had mocked as weak and cowardly were now proving to be masters of warfare. The Varuan insult that started it all, calling humans cowards, was now a warning to every empire. Underestimate humanity at your own risk. Back on Earth, Jack and Emma received reports from every front. Every fleet had succeeded beyond expectations. Every colony was secure. Humans had struck efficiently, with minimal loss, and the message was clear: patience is not weakness. Restraint is not fear. Humanity acts decisively when necessary. Lily Adams watched the final signals from Titan. The last Varuan raiding ships had retreated. "It's over here," she said. "We protected our people. We showed them what humans can do." Luke Parker nodded. "And they will remember this. Every empire will. Remember this. Humans are not cowards. We are guardians." Humanity had proven itself. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. Their fleets were powerful, but more than that, humans had shown that intelligence, coordination, and restraint could be stronger than sheer aggression. Jack Morris reflected on the campaign. "We fought once, and we ended it. That is the way humans fight. Efficient, precise, decisive. The galaxy will think twice before testing us again." Emma Brooks added, "The Varuan Empire learned the hard way. And so will any other empire that thinks they can bully humanity." Lily and Luke looked at the horizon from Titan's colony. The sun rose over a peaceful settlement, civilians safe, and fleets returning to orbit. Humanity's demonstration was complete. The war had begun, and already it was a lesson no one in the galaxy would forget. Ava Ross, watching from Luna, summarized it best. The galaxy thought humans were cowards. We have shown them patience, precision, and power. Humanity fights only when necessary, and when we do, it ends swiftly and decisively. This is the strength of our species. And so, the war no one expected unfolded. Humanity had acted not out of hatred or desire for conquest, but out of the need to survive, to protect their people, and to send a clear message. Patience is strength, and restraint is power. The galaxy would never again call humans cowards. The galaxy was changing. Every empire that had ever mocked humans as cowards now trembled at the thought of them. Humanity had acted decisively, showing that patience, intelligence, and careful planning were not signs of weakness. They were weapons. The last war was reaching its final stage, and humans were about to leave a mark that would last forever. Jack Morris sat in the command hub on Earth, reviewing reports from fleets across the galaxy. "They think they know humans," he said quietly. "They do not. They never have." Emma Brooks, standing beside him, nodded. "We fight not for conquest. We fight to protect our people. And when we fight, it is decisive, complete, and final. This is humanity's last war." Across Mars, Lily Adams and Luke Parker coordinated final strikes against remaining the Ruin and allied fleets. Human ships moved with perfect synchronization. Every attack had a purpose. Every maneuver was precise. Aliens who had expected humans to retreat were now trapped, confused, and powerless in the Varun home system. Humans executed a strategy that had been trained and refined for decades. Communications were cut, supply lines severed, and key ships immobilized. Alien commanders struggled to understand how a species they called cowardly could act with such skill and unity. Every step we take is expected, yet unseen, Luke said. They think they can predict us. They cannot. Lily smiled slightly. Patience is strength. Discipline is power. Humans have both in abundance. Back on Earth, Jack and the Human Council monitored progress. We fight only once, and we do it smartly, Jack said. Every move must protect our people and ensure victory. This war will be over quickly because we will not waste it. Civilians across colonies helped as well. Luna, Mars, and the outer settlements coordinated repairs, supplies, and communication support. Humanity's victory depended not just on ships or weapons, but on the unity of its people. Every citizen had a role. Every life mattered. Ava Ross prepared a broadcast to the galaxy, her voice calm and firm. We do not fight for conquest or revenge. We fight to protect our people. Humanity acts decisively when necessary, and with restraint always. Let the galaxy remember this. Patience is strength, intelligence is power, and humans do not bluff. The human fleets moved like a single organism. Alien ships that had mocked humans were now isolated, disarmed, and in some cases surrendered without a fight. Humanity had proven that war was not about destruction. It was about strategy, protection, and efficiency. The Varroan Empire finally admitted defeat. General Krell, once proud and confident, now reluctantly sent a message requesting peace. Humans had not destroyed entire systems or killed civilians unnecessarily. They had ended the conflict swiftly, decisively, and brilliantly. Jack Morris read the message aloud. The last battle is done. Humanity has acted once, decisively, and with restraint. The galaxy knows who we are now. On Titan, Lily Adams watched the sunrise over a peaceful colony. We protected everyone. We defended every settlement. We proved that humans are not cowards. Luke Parker nodded. Patience, strategy, and intelligence. That is humanity's power. That is why we survive. Emma Brooks coordinated the final communications. The galaxy will never underestimate us again. We have acted decisively, ended the war, and ensured our people are safe. Humanity's last war is over, and we won it without unnecessary destruction. Across Luna, Mars, and Earth, humans celebrated quietly. They had survived, acted, and protected one another. The galaxy would remember that the species it once mocked as weak was actually intelligent, patient, and unstoppable when necessary. Ava Ross reflected on the campaign. They called us cowards. They laughed at our restraint. But when we acted, it was decisive. Humanity fights once, strategically, and efficiently. That is our legacy. Jack Morris looked at the stars, proud. We are strong not because we fight recklessly, but because we plan, we coordinate, and we protect. Humanity's last war proves that restraint is strength, patience is power, and intelligence is the greatest weapon. Lily and Luke stood together on Titan, looking at the quiet colonies. The war is over, Lily said. We have protected everyone and shown the galaxy our true strength. Luke smiled. The galaxy will remember this. Humans are not cowards. Humans are guardians, disciplined, intelligent, and unstoppable when necessary. The last war had ended. Humanity had acted once, decisively, and with precision. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humans were a force of strategy, intelligence, and unity. And as the stars shone quietly over Earth and its colonies, the galaxy seemed to acknowledge a new truth. Humans were no longer the species to fear. They were the species to respect. Humanity's last war had ended, and its legacy would last forever.